The knowledge chest. Knowledge is power. Hi, and welcome to another episode of NVDA. I presume today will be lesson 14. So sometimes finding a specific word or a phrase on a web page, it can be the quickest way to basically get information that's important to you. So if the word or the phrase is not the first text in a heading or in a link, then it can be pretty difficult to find with the elements list dialog. So browsers, they provide a find function with Control plus F as many browsers do. But because of the way NVDA works with browsers, this function often it doesn't work with NVDA. So NVDA provides a find feature to search for text on a web page. So it works like the find command in WordPad. So to find a word or phrase, then we press NVDA plus Control plus F. So it's NVDA plus Control plus F. And then we type the phrase, what we're looking for, and press Enter. So the find dialog then disappears, and then focus moves to the next instance of the word or the phrase on the page. So let's do this in practice quickly. I am going to go to the nvaccess.org website. I'm on the website. I'm gonna just make sure that I'm at the top of the website by pressing Control plus Home.
Heading Level 1 visited NV Access empowering lives through non-visual access to tech.
Okay, I'm at the top of the website. And now I'm going to just do a NVDA and a Control plus F to go to the NVDA Find dialog.
Find dialog.
And I'm going to type, well, let's see if there's already text that I've typed here.
F-R-E-E.
Yep.
Blank.
The text free, just to see if NVIDIA, what they say about free and if it's really free and all that kind of things. So I'm going to just press Tab here.
Case sensitive, not checked, Alt S.
Okay, so there you heard that you can just press spacebar on that, it's a checkbox, or press Alt S, that's the hotkey there, to make it case sensitive. Alright, so I am going to just Shift Tab.
Type the text you wish
to get back to the free text there. Then I'm going to just press Enter.
Heading Level 2 bold freely easily access A.
Freely easily access. Okay, so let's see if there's another instance here.
Find dialog. Type the text you wish to find selected free. Heading Level 3 free solution.
Free solution. So if I wanted to go back, I would then be able to use the Shift key in conjunction with the because if you search forward, you use F3, and if you search backward, then you can use Shift F3. In that way, you can search forward and you can search backward in your search dialog of the text that you are trying to search. So everything that we've done so far in Chrome, because that's the application we are working in, has been about reading web pages using browse mode. So on some pages, it's also possible to submit information back to the site, which then changes what the page then outputs or displays. So let's take an example. You may be searching for information or signing up to maybe receive a newsletter. When buying something at an online store, like Takealot for instance, then the site needs to know the payment details, what to send, and also where to deliver them. So forms, it varies, it differs in their complexity. So a simple search page may have little more than an edit box that you can type in the search query and also then a button to perform the search. But a sign up page um, might use edit boxes, it might use check boxes, radio buttons, and combo boxes, etc. So this allows um, basically easier entry of data. So it allows you then to input more data onto that page. So an edit box then allows free entry of information like your name, a combo box to select the nearest like cinema or restaurant. It restricts the option to a preset list of places or venues that exists. A checkbox only requires, well, one keystroke to select or to check the box or to uncheck the box. For instance, when you want to sign up for a newsletter. So it's very, very important here to be careful with information that you provide on the internet, people. People that are, let's call them, I won't call them hackers. They're plain and simple just bad people. They can sell your information that you provide on a website. Malicious websites may even copy that appearance of legitimate websites. So I came across a site the other day who impersonated a trading site, and they were actually a scam. And you call that phishing sites. So this aims to trick people into providing information to criminals. Now, the reading of the address bar can help to confirm the address or URL. So it's also called a URL of a website. Typing the known URL of a site into the browser is also safer than activating links in an unexpected email. So web forms, they work like dialog boxes in both navigation and submitting. There is usually a default button which is often called submit. So you'll get a submit button, and that is often the default button of such a form. You can log a search like that, or you can. There's also sometimes a log on or a log in button. It's similar to that. So To activate this button, navigate to it and then press enter. Or press enter from anywhere in that form. One of the most common forms that people use is a search engine to find information on the internet. So Google is one of the more popular, search engines. And you also get DuckDuckGo and also Bing. That is like it's several other search engines that you also get. So using Google after loading the page at www.google.com, then the main feature is a simple edit box in the middle of that page. Unlike many pages, people, once the page loads, the focus is in the edit field, ready to type a search query. So you can type any phrase or any question into Google. When the focus gets to a form field, by default, NVDA goes to browse mode, into focus mode. So in browse mode, then you press individual letters and other keys to jump to elements on the page. So you can press H to jump to the next heading, for instance, or you can press D to jump to the next landmark. So in focus mode, those single letter navigation keys are not available. Instead, in focus mode, then we'll press keys to type these characters to edit boxes. Okay, so use the arrow keys to navigate through radio buttons rather than move by line or by character. So when NVDA goes into focus mode, it basically plays a clicking sound. When NVDA goes into browse mode, it plays a lower pitched, short beep sound. I'm going to demonstrate that now. So NVDA goes from focus mode to browse mode when a form is submitted, or if the focus moves out of the form. So we're going to look at Google's page now. And Google updates their search page from time to time. So it's possible that the steps to complete the activity, it may change. So if the steps, if it doesn't work as expected, then just use the navigation keys, okay, to investigate the updated layout yourself. So if needed, then I'll basically guide you through this if there's anything that you're unsure of, and that's why I'm going to physically demonstrate this quickly. I'm going to once again go to my desktop here.
Checked.
So I'm going to just open my browser and go to its address bar.
New tab, Google Chrome, Paul, toolbar, address and search bar.
So here you can basically type in the search phrase that you want to type. But I'm going to go to the Google website to basically just demonstrate this. So www.google.com.
Google.com selected. Search collapsed has autocomplete multi-line editable opens list. Google. Search collapsed has autocomplete multi-line editable opens list. Search by voice. Search.
So Now we are, let's just make sure if we are in the search box.
Search collapsed has search by voice.
So we are on this search box.
Search collapsed has autocomplete multi-line editable opens list.
And you'll hear that NVDA makes a sound to indicate that we are on this search box. So we can just press enter to go from browse mode into focus mode. You'll hear the sound there. And we can type, let's type NVDA or download NVDA into a search box.
D O W N O A N L O N V A. Download NVDA 2019.
Okay, well, Google thinks that it understands and knows what we want to search for, but that's not the case. So I'm just going to press
Download NVIDIA 210 A. Download NVDA 2019.
Well, I'm not going to. If I wanted to search for that, I'll just press enter. But let's say let's press a space bar here
NVDA space
and just press 2023.
3. Download NVDA 2020.4. Search expanded has autocomplete multi-line editable. Download NVDA 2023.
Now let's search for that. See what happens. So we'll press enter.
This site can access your location. Alert, change this setting in.
Did you hear the shorter sound that NVDA makes to indicate that we are back in browse mode? So now we can choose the D. Check if there's a landmark.
Google.
There's a landmark there. And usually close to that, you will find the first heading of the search that we've searched for. So let's see.
Bold filters and topics heading level 1. Search results heading level 1.
There's the search results. Quickly and easily found. Let's just go down arrow.
No bold. Heading level 3. Download NVDA. NV access.
And that's the one we want, people. That's the correct one. So there we have performed our first search and filled in the form and then submitted that. That's just an example of an easy and a very simple form that we then could fill in. So there are many keys that can be used in searching for form fields and other kinds of navigational keystrokes in browse mode, like for instance F for form field, E for edit boxes, C for combo boxes, R for radio buttons. And these keys, you can press E once to find the next edit field, for instance, or then you can add the shift key then to find the previous one, and F to find a form field, and shift F to find the previous form field. So you can basically just add the shift to any of these keystrokes to search backwards. So when navigating forms, you press enter to activate a button. So like dialog boxes, if not on a button, enter will activate the default button on the form, such as submit or OK, or then select or unselect checkboxes or radio buttons with spacebar. That's better. So it is possible to then navigate some combo boxes with your arrow keys. In other combo boxes, Alt down arrow must be pressed first. And that is common in combo boxes, the Alt down arrow. So when some pages load, the focus may start in an edit box, like Google. and NVDA will automatically go into focus mode. This does not happen with every page, okay? It doesn't happen always. So it's more common on pages designed around a form like Google. So on a page in browse mode, when tab moves the focus into an edit field, by default, NVDA will go into focus mode. So by default, the arrow keys or single letter navigation keys such as E to move to the edit box do not put NVDA in focus mode. When focus mode is on a form field and NVDA is in browse mode, then press enter to go into focus mode, as we did when we searched in the Google search edit box when we opened Google. So when NVDA is in focus mode, to change it to browse mode, then we press escape. It is important, very important, to listen for the click to know whether you are in focus mode or if you are in browse mode. I want to speak about tables next. So web pages can have information in tables, like for example a calendar or like a product list. So in browse mode, the single key navigation to jump to the next table is the letter T for Tango, or Shift T to jump to the previous table. You can practice that if you wish. You can pause and then practice that if you wish. So when focus jumps to a table, NVDA will read the caption if there is one. So it will also read the number of rows and columns. As with forms, it can be useful to jump to the table, then navigate back a little bit to read the text introducing the table. So either moving up a couple of lines or moving to the previous heading can work. It just depends on the web page. So when the focus is in a table, then you can press Control and Alt. Okay, Control plus Alt, and then the arrows to move between the cells. Control and Alt and left arrow to move one column to the left on the same row. Control Alt and right arrow, then move one column to the right on the same row. Control Alt and up arrow will move up one row in the same column, and also then Control Alt down arrow will then move down one row in the same column. When moving around the table, NVDA reads the heading of the row or the column if it is available. So it also reads the current row or the column number and also the contents of that current cell. NVDA has an option to control which of this information it reads when moving around tables. So open the NVDA menu, choose Preferences, and then Document Formatting. So I'm going to do that now. So just to show you exactly where it is. So I'm going to open the NVDA menu.
NVDA menu.
Preferences.
Preferences sub-menu. Settings. Speech punctuation symbol.
And go to Documents.
Input Microsoft Cloud setting. Speech punctuation input Microsoft Word Cloud settings. Speech dictionary Microsoft Cloud Settings.
Sorry, it's
S1 of 6. NVDA
settings there.
General. Speech. Braille 3. Vision. Keyboard. Mouse 6. Review.
And then
Object. Browse. Document formatting 11 of 26.
there goes. It's under document formatting. That's where you will find that. So there are several options which then are of particular interest in this settings. And we're going to check that out now. So tables controls whether NVDA reports anything about tables. Row/columns, headers, and cell coordinates sets whether NVDA reads either of those. So these settings, they are checkboxes, people. So you can then just use the space bar to check or to uncheck these settings. Just going to go in there.
Document formatting 11 of 26. OBS 29.1.
So the last thing that I want to cover before we finish this lesson, it's just two small things. I want to speak about containers. Now, containers are, it's what it means when what the word means by saying it's cells in a table or in a list, items in a list that contains data. So it's the cells in the table and the items in the list that contains the data. So lists and tables, they are called containers, and we will see some examples here. I'm going to go to the NVDA quick reference guide, commands quick reference guide here. I'm going to press NVDA plus N for November.
NVDA menu.
And H for help.
User guide.
And down arrow to
commands
quick reference.
OBS 29.1.3 profile. NVDA 2023.2 commands quick reference.
For those of you who do not know, NVDA version 23.2 is out. It's the latest version. I would advise you folks to update to that latest version. It is stable according to me. So let's check out and see if there are any tables here. Let's go press a T.
Table with 10 rows and 5 columns.
Yes, there are rows and columns in this table. So let's read the columns and the rows by pressing Control Alt and down arrow. Control Alt and down arrow to read down in the first column.
Row 2 no bold. Row 3 stop speech. Row 4 pause speech. Row 5 NVDA menu. Row 6 toggle speech mode.
I pressed Alt Control down arrow. So let's press Alt Control right arrow in this menu or in this column here.
Desktop key column 2 NVDAS. Laptop key column 3 NVDAS.
Okay, so now I'm going to press T again.
Table with 4 rows and 3 columns.
Another table. So you'll press T to move from table to table, and press Shift T.
Table with 10 rows and 5 columns. Row 1 column 1 name.
To move back. And so we can also look if there are any lists here in this document.
No bold H. Heading. NVDA Control P. Show the configuration profiles dialog. Braille X EL40C. No next list.
Do you hear what happens?
No next list.
I moved down with I pressed an L until NVDA said
no next list.
Okay, so if I want to go back a list, then I'll just press Shift L.
NVDA Control P. Show the configuration profiles dialog.
So you can move with the L and the Shift L keys from list to list, or you can use the comma key as well. The comma moves you past a container like a list. It moves you to the first item that is past that list, or past the table or list. It's very helpful if the element isn't known, that's after the container, and you can read that there, or shift comma to move back. Now I want to also speak to you about overriding NVDA on web pages. We will use the NVDA spacebar. So let's say, for instance, NVDA goes into focus mode. You want to keep it there because it might go into browse mode, especially when you find that you have to fill in forms. Then NVDA might switch between browse and focus mode. It definitely is irritating. You want to keep it in browse or in focus mode, especially when the form has text that needs to be explained and you just want to read it. Without NVDA going into browse mode, you press NVDA spacebar. You hear, and then NVDA spacebar again to get out of focus mode. Just understand and just remember that NVDA focus mode will then stay loaded for that page until you load another page or cancel it. So if you override it, it will stay that way. Alright, then this is the end of NVDA lesson on filling in forms in the web. I hope it has been useful to you. I hope you have learned something. And if a lesson is long, you can just break it up and listen, at your own time. Remember, knowledge is power. The knowledge chest. Knowledge is power.